What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of another Google recorded podcast. What's new and exciting?
I got COVID last week for the first time ever. 4 years later, here I am on the other side of things.
How did you manage to stay alive?
What's that horse drug they give you?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't take that, but
Should have taken that.
The horse dewormer.
is that what it is?
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin. That's what it is.
Ivermectin or Ivermectin, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take that, but I made it through. Felt a little rough Thursday, Friday. Sore throat on the weekend. Here we are, the Tuesday after, not even a week. 90% healed. I don't know why we shut the world down for this. I'll tell you that. Like, I was almost wanting to get it to see what all the hype was about. Like, oh, this thing must really fuck you up, you know? And like, you shut down the world, the economy for that?
Go around licking doorknobs, hoping to get it to see what the hype's about.
Yeah. Now it's I missed a day at work, but not my 6 months in bed. I don't know, maybe some people get this longer or more severe. Maybe it'd be bad for grandma, you know, but my kid got it for a day. She was completely fine after.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm over it. Does that mean I can't get it again?
No, you can get it again.
I can get it
and then
again.
you can also get long COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want that.
I want that.
Don't want
PK,
the
did you ever get it?
I would never get tested for it.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't, but my mother-in-law tested positive, and I felt like having my nose molested, so I took one of those Q-tips that are real far back in your nose there. And
Nice.
she turned out it was a positive.
I would never give. First of all, the test is horribly unreliable. It's got like a 50% fail rate or something.
The first time I took it,
Like 30, I think it's honestly like 50% is exaggeration, but I think that like 30% of the time the test is inaccurate. So 3 out of 7 tests are wrong. So the chances that you actually had COVID are pretty slim. Like it could be a false positive, right? So, because there's a lot of false. Secondly, I just wouldn't give Trudeau the satisfaction of having something jammed up my fucking nose. He can suck it.
Well, he doesn't personally put it in your nose.
I don't care. I fucking hate him so much.
Ass.
I'd rather die of COVID than fucking get tested for it and give Trudeau the satisfaction. I hate that guy so much. Our country is a fuck show because of that guy.
You don't have to tell me. I got out of a tax meeting this afternoon.
Oh my God.
Um,
How fucking shit was that?
Well, we've decided that we have to now create a holding company.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be NDL Holdings, and NDL Holdings is going to have our equipment, and then he's like, we can make all sorts of companies. He's like, one for your cash, and one for your equipment, and one for your land. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
That's how it gets done, buddy. You need it. You fucking need it.
Well, I must.
I'm telling you, you need it.
Right? I am under no illusions that I am ill prepared for anything that happens.
Hmm.
Right. So my faith is in these guys to push me in the right direction and give me some guidance. They're tax professionals, they're chartered accountants, they're everything that I need, but they're also salesmen, right?
They are also salesmen. That's
So
fair.
you have to take it with a grain of salt. And so we're going to do something. I don't know how many corporations we're going to have, or holding companies or whatever it is, but we can't keep putting along the way it's going. There's just too much all in one basket.
Can we sneak this podcast into that holding company?
Maybe the podcast should have its own holding company.
Oh yeah, with all the
First, we'd
products that
have
we're
to
going
have
to come out.
something to hold.
What are you trying to say?
Absolutely nothing to hold. Not $1 has been generated by us.
Well, I think dollars may have been generated for other people.
Yeah, but not to our
Like to
benefit.
say, so that's a fair statement. To say no, not $1 has ever been generated by us on this podcast, I think that's false. I think at least one person might have bought an H&A ticket using our code.
Yeah.
So if at least one person, then we generate. But to say we've never generated any money for us ourselves, super fair. Really a good assessment of the situation.
Should I email H&A and ask them how many people have bought through our code?
Yeah. Why not?
I know somebody messaged me and said that they used our code. So
The worst they're
I
going to do
know-
is ghost you again.
Yeah. I know if I email them and they say nobody's bought through your code, then we're likely going to get ghosted.
That's okay. It's probably what we would deserve.
Are there still Airbnbs available for this?
That's a great question. Yeah, there is. I checked 2 weeks ago, last time we brought it up on the podcast. I booked the last minute. I booked the weekend before.
Really? I'm still good to go if you guys are.
Are we going for the full thing?
Do we need to go for the full thing? Is it like Congress where you're sick of it after a day?
What happened? So I went. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I went Tuesday, got there Tuesday night, and then let me just pull it up. Tuesday, I got there Tuesday night. Wednesday, it started. Wednesday night, I don't remember there being anything, but there probably is. Thursday morning, there was a live podcast. 3 podcasters did that. So I went to that, and then the show. And then on the evening, Antonio from Zeppa's had an event. And I don't know if he's going to be having that event again this year, but that was really cool. And then Friday morning, I don't know if Sutton's going this year, but he always puts on a breakfast in the parking lot. And then we left Friday after that and didn't go to the show. So that's...
I'll leave it all up to you guys. What you guys want to do?
It's up to you guys if you want to go for that Tuesday to Friday, or if you would want to go Wednesday and then stay till Friday.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever. What do you want to do, PK?
I don't know. I had a really busy day today.
Yeah.
I'm really overwhelmed. I have way too many things going on. I started way too much. And then we're doing this job, and it's a wedding on September 28th, and everyone kept saying September 28th, which honestly, for the amount of work there is to do, September 28th is a long way away. There's
going to be a day.
There's Tyler from Hallscape's coming up. Jordan from DPR is coming up to do the wood. Tyler's going to be doing the pavers and the concrete, and and Paver King is going to be doing all the planting. It's a big job. It's an extensive job. It's a lot of work, but we have lots of time. Like, I think that Tyler and Jordan both feel like their scopes are 5 days each. The planting, I think, is a 5-day scope. It's a lot of excavation. There's a lot of garden prep. I think we have lots of time. But then I was there today. The homeowner's like, yeah, we're going to pave on Monday. But to put this in perspective, this house is at the top of a hill, and this is a 2-kilometer driveway.
Ooh.
So this isn't like paving a residential house. And the driveway extends all the way around the house to the first of the outdoor garages, because I think there's 3 outdoor garages on the property. And that's all getting paved, but it's all like areas where we would be working. And I'm like, man, like there's no fucking way we're going to be ready for that. It's just never going to happen. And it's kind of threw me for the whole day. And to be fair, the guy I had it in my mind. I wanted to be done a week before the finish date to give them time to pave. But I felt like we'd be done 2 weeks before the finish date. So that would give them 2 weeks to get the paving done, a week for it to settle or whatever has to do with the paving. And then it would be done. And I felt like that was the schedule, but I didn't effectively communicate that to the homeowner, which is on me, 100% my fault. I didn't say, hey, this is what I think the schedule should be and how it should work. Like I showed up there and there was randomly a 14-ton excavator and some dude I'd never met before slamming in armor stones everywhere and digging huge trenches. And I'm like, who are you, man? What's going on here? Like, it was not that it was my scope of work. I didn't even know there was a scope of work for that. So maybe in my haste to close jobs in a season where it was hard to close jobs, I may have not paid as close attention to this as I should have. There's a possibility that maybe I got distracted by a million other things I had going on. And I thought we had lots of time. And I guess I think we still have lots of time. Even if they delay the paving a week, everyone's going to be there tomorrow and we'll get it. We'll start making a big push to get it done. But then it's also supposed to fucking rain on Friday.
Yeah.
Which doesn't add anything to my life. And then I had this guy who called me and said he needed 100 loads of fill to build a berm. Great. He said he needed it last week of April, first week of May. Perfect. So I kept trying to keep this 100 loads of fill, right, to do this job. But then the guy not his fault, but it just kept not being ready and not being ready and not being ready. And then it's ready today. I'm like, I don't really have 100 loads of fill sitting around right now. I do. Like we'll get it done. Like I think we took 25 there today.
Wow.
Like we'll get it done, but like I don't have an instantaneous 100 loads of fill. So he's like, but I've got machines here. And I think that's a legitimate point. I really do. But I'm like, dude, this is supposed to happen in like fucking May. Like it's August. It's gonna be September next week. Like, yeah. So, and I had a lot of jobs where we had a lot of fill we could have brought there, and the timing didn't pan out. Of course, even Monday I was moving shit tons of fill, and the panning didn't pan out because it was opening this area. This job site was opening Tuesday. I'm like, oh my, like whatever. So I'm a bit overwhelmed to make a choice on how many days we should be at H&A.
Yeah.
And I've never been there before. I can't see myself wandering around any trade show more than one day.
Yeah, I would say one day it was pretty good for the indoor hardscape.
Unless there was a specific event I was attending on the second day, then that would be different. But I can't see myself walking from booth to booth for 2 or 3 days in a row. That's just
But there's the outdoor. The outdoor is pretty cool too.
Oh.
So you're saying a day on the outdoor, a day on the indoor? The problem,
yeah, I would say so.
One of the things is we're walking with the Savior. And when you're walking with the
God,
Savior, I think there's going to be a lot of people coming up.
I don't think you're. I think you'd be lucky if you get one person to come up to me.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people will come up to the landscape daddy and the king of pavers.
Maybe they'll go to Paver King.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Why would they come to me?
You're a personality. You're a.
I do a great review of headphones. I watched it today. I was like, this was a good review.
Of the earmuff.
There's a lot of valuable information about those earmuffs from Forcefield Canada.
I haven't got a chance to wear them because my kid always takes them. She wears them around the house. They're not in a work site.
I can tell you the level of comfort with them. That just tells you she's voluntarily wearing them just so she doesn't have to listen to her parents.
Yeah.
She's a smart kid. How old
She
is she?
doesn't listen to her parents with them off.
How old is she?
6.
She's a smart kid. I'm gonna put these headphones on so I have an excuse to not listen to anyone and do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
That's good. That's good reasoning and deduction at 6 years old, bro.
Yeah. Well,
That's impressive.
well, she would put it to good use.
She will.
They're arguing with her parents.
Wait till she's 16.
It's bad already. I don't know what I'm going to do at 16. I'm going to lose myself in my work, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's different. It's a whole different world at 16.
Yeah. You know how every year they have to write, you get that board or whatever, and your kid holds it up, and I'm going into grade 1 or whatever, and I want to be, when I'm older, I want to grow up and be whatever. Right now it says a pet groomer, right? I'm like, how many more years until that says a landscaper? She's like, I never want to be a landscaper.
Oh,
But I'm like, but look at the lifestyle that landscaping has provided for you. She's like, I don't want to do that.
She's 6. What do you think? She's 6. You think she knows what lifestyle she's being? That's awesome.
I know, it's just funny to be like, no, I
Listen,
don't want to be a
you need to
landscaper.
you need to understand this lifestyle that's been provided to you at 6. That's awesome. The fact that you had that conversation with her, look at the lifestyle that's being provided to you. That's awesome. I love
Well,
that. I should have said stuff like that more.
Like,
it's not wrong. No. Saying expecting a 6-year-old to comprehend that is
for regular landscape laborers, I agree. You don't want to be a landscape laborer working for someone else your whole life, right? You want to be the top dog or the big cheese or whatever it is, running the show to reap the rewards. Yeah, but even your best paid guy, do they live as well as you do?
they better. I'm the lowest paid guy. By far. It's not even close.
So here's my thing.
They all live better than me.
I don't make more money than my guys. I take home $1,500 a week. They make $1,300 a week, $1,400 a week, some of them. But I work more than they do, right? They work 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I work way more.
Yeah. So in relation, I make less than they do an hour. But I have this stuff partly because it's like the new truck is a business write-off and all this stuff. So that's just a perk for me. But as far as our house and everything like that, like we make the same, my workers and I. So like they could have all this too. Instead they spend it on dope and partying and whatever, video games. One of them just bought a house, but I don't know. But
I never wanted to be the boss. I have no desire to be the boss.
no.
No. I fucking hate it. Like I don't mind being the boss of the job site, like being the foreman, but being the boss of the whole company, I fucking hate it.
Really?
Yeah. I absolutely fucking hate it. I hate the fucking epic responsibility. I hate that fucking I'm responsible for everyone's families. I fucking hate all of it. It's just like more weight than I need to carry in my life. But I think that I just take it it depends on how you feel about it. If you feel like if you don't give a fuck about what happens to the people that work for you, then I think that it's fine. But for me, I lie awake at night worrying about how I'm going to make sure that all these people, like, harassing them to fucking try and take like good, like, anyways, I spend a lot of time trying to make sure. And it just, for me, I fucking hate every second of it. Every second of every day. I fucking hate being the boss. But I also fucking hate people telling me what to do. And it's like a huge oxymoron in my whole life. I hate being the boss, but I really hate it if someone tells me to do something.
If you had, say, go back to Ridge Lake and you really liked your boss, would you go back to a situation like that now?
I did really like my boss the last couple. I worked for the guy from 1987 until 2017.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked with him for 30 years on it. Like, I ran my own company and subcontracted off him, and I worked directly for him. And like, I really liked the guy till the last year when he became a greedy fuck. Last couple of years, he was just a greedy fucking asshole. And I don't like treating everyone like fucking garbage, and I don't like that. And I couldn't participate in it anymore.
Was that like at a flip of a dime, like all of a sudden?
Yeah, all of a sudden he was just he was always weird. He's a weird fucking person, but not weird bad. He's just weird. But anyone who's in landscaping for a long period of time is fucking weird. Let's be real about it. Like, but he just became like insanely greedy and like grinding everyone down because when we started, the theory was we'll build systems in place to make the company more profitable. So every year we tried to build more systems in place to make the company more profitable and do more things to make the company more profitable. But when you've built all the systems you can and you've made the company as profitable as you possibly can, there's only one place left to start deriving more profit from. When you've got everything running like a top and you're running 35 to 50% margins on every job after tax, and you still want more, there's only one place to go. And that's to the staff, and start grinding the staff down. There's nowhere left to go. And we got it to a point where we were running 35 to 50% margins on every job and after tax, and there was nowhere left to go. And so I would have been happy to just leave it the way it was. The guy was making an insane living.
Yeah.
He was clearing like 1.5 to 1.8 million a year after tax.
Wow.
In profit. And it just wasn't enough for him. So then he had to fucking grind the staff and like change like systems like, oh, well, I'm only paying you one way to drive now instead of both ways. And changing everything just to try and get every more penny he could, because there was no more pennies to get anywhere else. We were insanely efficient. We were invoicing insane amounts of money per staff member per year. We had an incredibly low overhead. Every piece of equipment we had worked every single day. Like, everything at that company was dialed in to the fucking perfectly. It was probably one of the most efficient landscaping companies in Ontario. And we never once had a fucking software. We did it all fucking, no one consulted. There was no fucking gurus. We just did what made sense every year and made changes. But then there's nothing left. So then when you attack the staff, I couldn't tolerate that. So I had to go. I couldn't do it. I ground on them because I mean, I was the one doing all the stuff, like that stuff. So I ground on them for like 18 months. And then I was like, I just can't fucking physically do this anymore.
The next thing they could have done was started a software,
I guess. Yeah. I'm not a good person. I know that, but I don't like to treat people like, if I don't like to just grind on people and treat them like garbage. Like,
yeah, I can't.
I don't have the wherewithal to do it, especially people who are working hard and trying their best. You know, people are just working hard, trying to survive, trying their best. And, you know, in our profession, in my opinion, there's a lot of broken people.
Does the company still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he sold it. He was supposed to sell it to me, but he refused to sell it to me. And as soon as I left, he sold it to someone else. I guess in the end, he just didn't want to see anyone under him do well.
Hmm.
I think he just got to I don't know. Like he just changed a lot. I knew the guy 30 years. Like it's not like I knew the guy 3 years. I know, and he probably has a differing story and an opinion on my behavior too. You know, to be fair to him, I'm sure there's a side of that story that he could tell that makes me out to be a horrible person. And I would guess that some of that stuff that he's saying is that he would say about that time and that situation is probably true. And I choose to forget it because it doesn't make me look very good in a good light. So my brain but I'm sure if he was to tell a story, there would be him talking about how I changed and I was not doing and like there's always two views to every story. So it's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily in the right when I say everything. You know, I'm sure that the truth lies somewhere in the middle. You know, my version is my truth. No, we all live in our own truth.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like whatever happens every day, all day long, you're living in the truth that you see, which may not actually be like, that's why like people watch themselves on video and go, what the fuck? Because the truth that they were living wasn't what actually happened. Their brain just doesn't remember it. Right. So, you know, my brain, I'm sure my brain is skipping over stuff that I did that was horrible. Like my brain remembers a lot of horrible shit I've done, but I'm sure that my brain also skips over stuff that I did that was horrible. And I'm sure he has nothing, I know he has nothing good to say about me. Which the whole thing, honestly, when you really think about it, the whole fucking thing with that whole shit show is kind of sad. Like I literally started working with that guy when I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
Like I literally grew up working with that guy. And the fact that I haven't spoke to him that was 2017. So what, like 6 years, 7 years? I haven't spoken to the guy once. I talked to the guy almost every day for 30 years.
Do you think you'll bury the hatchet one day?
No, fuck him.
No.
He can go fuck himself.
Even if he's got video evidence of you being an asshole on camera?
I guarantee someone has video evidence of me being an asshole on camera. But there's a lot of video evidence of me being a jackass on camera. I am not a good person. I'm a better person than I used to be at 50. But I can tell you between the ages of like 18 and 40, I was a really bad person who did a lot of really horrible things to a lot of people.
Really?
I'm a better person now. I'm sure I had my moments back in the day, but I would say like, how old was I? Paisley's 16. I was 34. So I would say I started to be a better person at 34.
Was it because
No,
of that?
actually, that's not true. Because the first 2 years of her life, I never saw her or talked to her or did anything with her. I just went to work till she was 2. So I would say from 36, I started to be a better person. First 2 years of her life, I was still a pretty horrible person. So there's lots of people who've been around me for 20 years will tell you that, 30 years. Like, but again, that's everyone's perception, right? What's the actual truth? I don't know. There's probably someone like this dude that worked with me from 2005 till 2010 came back and was like super excited to work with us again. I'm like, bro, man, I think I treated you like garbage. I'm like, man, how poorly has this person been treated since 2010 when he stopped being around me? Like, what have people done to this guy for the last 13 fucking years? Like, I was like, I don't think I was nice to him at all. Like,
Maybe that's how Brandini felt.
it could absolutely be how Brandini felt. I don't know.
Found out it wasn't so bad working for us. And left again. I think he sells drugs now.
Oh, so a step up.
You can't, for landscaping, it's a step up.
Maybe he met a bunch of roofers,
Yeah.
movers,
In jail on the weekend?
probably. Is that
He'll
who
be
does-
starting
Do they still
a
do-
landscaping business soon.
Yeah.
He'll be starting a landscaping business. I whenever I talk to anyone now, I tell them like say something like something happened at soccer where this is not recently because Paisley's 16 and she deals with her own fucking problems at soccer. But when something happened at like, say 12 or 13 that a parent needed to get involved, I would call the coach and be like, yo, bro, listen, I have a 13-year-old girl version of what went on here. So I understand this may not be the absolute truth, but we still need to have a conversation. Like, this is her truth that she told me, but I understand that this may be a little bit, the perception of what happened here might be a little bit off. So let's have a rational conversation.
Yeah. I feel like the 13-year-old girl version and the landscape labor version are similar.
That's a distinct possibility. Absolutely. Yeah. That's absolutely could be true.
Yeah.
That they could absolutely be very close and together.
So on Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock, no, 2 o'clock, no, 1 o'clock. That morning I sent a couple guys out to work on one of our jobs, and Murray, our French guy, goes home at noon on Fridays because he has to pick up his daughter from somewhere in buttfuck Quebec, like far away.
Really?
Yeah. So he's got a 2-hour haul to pick up his kid. So he leaves early on Friday. That's established, whatever. Another one of our employees decides he's going home at that same time. Gets in Murray's car with him, takes off. JP calls me and he's like, "Well, Mike left. He's like, I'm here all alone. They have a party this weekend. I'm trying to get things cleaned up." It's like, and I'm sick as shit, right? Because I've got the COVID. And okay, well, is this the first we're hearing about this party? He's like, "Yeah, we didn't know about it." Like, well, it's not our fault that we're hearing about a party Friday afternoon that's happening this weekend. So let me call the other guys, see if they can come. And I got them over there after pulling them away from their other site. And all's good. They get everything done. Show up Monday morning to move a machine. And the sanding that they did Friday is fucking god awful. Like, sand hardened to the top of the pavers and shit like that. Like, there's just, I don't know how a professional could leave the job looking like that, activate the sand and be like, "Yep, this looks fucking great," and then leave. So he's like, "Oh, we blew it off really good and all this." And like, is this the professional talking to me, or is this the 13-year-old girl? Like, it's the same fucking job as far as I'm concerned. Like, this is not a professional job. Now I got to activate this sand and scrub it off the pavers, and like, I was very let down.
Do you think that asking people to do Palmeric sand on Friday afternoon is a good decision on your part?
I never asked them to. They completely took it upon themselves. They knew it had to be done at some point. They decided Friday was the time to do it. But regardless of the time that you're going to do it, if you can't do it right, you shouldn't be doing it.
I agree with you.
Right.
So the fact that they took it on themselves to do it, then that's their that's their cross to bear. If you had said, "Listen, I want you to be doing this sand on 4:30 on a Friday afternoon in the hot sun in August," I would say that, Chad, maybe that wasn't the best decision to tell them to do that if you expected good results. But if they took it upon themselves to perform this work, then they bear I mean, at the end of the day, this is always your fault.
It's always my fault.
You're the boss. Yeah. But I feel like the percentage of fault that is yours in this regard, if they decided to do this on their own on Friday afternoon and then fucked it up, is also largely on them. Because the only argument where it's your fault is you didn't tell them not to do it at 4:30 in the afternoon. Like, why? That's the thing. Polysand is the most arduous task in all of landscaping. There's nothing more arduous than polysanding. It is the shittiest job in landscaping, and it is the easiest job that can go bad and ruin an entire job. You can spend 6 weeks making the absolute perfect 90 miters on every corner, only to have your insanely good miter cuts on your corners go bad because of polysand. Like it's not a task. Like if you're gonna do it, you're right. You got to do it fucking right. You take your time and fucking do it right. And if you don't have the time, you're better to put it off than rush through it, because all you're gonna do is cause yourself heartache.
Yeah.
And you do not want to ruin those 90 miter corners.
I don't think there's a miter on that job.
Maybe that's the problem.
Laid straight through the corner. No, the job is 10 years old. We lifted it up, parts of it, and put it back down today. And
You didn't recut it with miters to make it look like more modern?
Okay, so I got plastic edging on this job, and it's coming up. Obviously, 10-year-old plastic edging is raised above
The
pavers in some spots. What do like? Obviously, I want to leave them with the job looking better than when I left it, right? Because we're resanding and touching up some stuff, and we built them $70,000 worth of other stuff at the house. So
yes.
I mean,
Are you doing this to be nice, or is this part of the contract?
I buried he asked for everything to be pressure washed and sanded. I buried that in another price. There's no line item for it, but we did it anyway. So I buried it, throughout a bunch of other stuff. But am I pressure wash and resand? He's never said anything. Hey, look, this edging is sticking up after 10 years. Should I go and pull it out anyway? Do you think is there going to be further migration? There's no migration now. Do you think if I just pulled that edging out and packed the topsoil up against it, I'm worse off? Or do you think there's not much lateral creep that's going to occur after 10 years? Like, should I take it out and put concrete in? Am I on the hook for that?
There's only two solutions in my mind. Take it out and put concrete in, or leave it.
Yeah.
Those are the only two. Any other solution, you're playing with fire. Like if you pull it out and then pack some topsoil and it starts to laterally creep apart, you're fixing the patio because you were the last one to touch it.
What pavers are these? If you step on the edge of them, are they gonna?
They're Trafalgar,
separate?
but they've been in there for 10 years. Like the grass is an inch higher than them, but the plastic edging is an inch and a half higher than them. It's probably not holding anything in as it is.
I think if it was me, I would take the saw and I would cut the plastic edging off and just take that strip that's an inch and a half too high and throw it away.
I don't think that's gonna. Then you get little plastic bits all over the place, and they're melted to the top of the pavers, and the paver has saw marks all across it. And
then I would just leave it.
Leave it.
Yeah, I would leave it.
Yeah, I feel like you're opening a can of worms here that you're not prepared for.
Well, that's why I'm asking you guys, right? Like, I
Wait
don't
for
have
him to ask you to fix it, and then
No.
say that it'll be.
Yeah, he had never.
Do you know if the base is even like if you actually back then 10 years ago, did you build this patio?
Yep.
So 10 years ago, were you doing a 6-inch overdig? Or were you putting the edging in right on the edge of the base?
No, this one was an overdig. We rented the big diesel packer. We turned the whole side of the house black because the exhaust was just puffing at the brick all day. But I'm like, it was a brand new construction. I'm like, this thing can never move. And we probably lost about half an inch in some spots. But for the most part, 9 years later, it doesn't owe you a thing.
So like if you were to pull that edging out, is there what were you using back then? Gravel?
Yeah, and stone dust.
So if you were to pull that edging out, are those nails pounded into gravel or are they pounded into dirt?
The edging is breaking before the nails will come out. Like the plastic is breaking.
No, I know, but I'm asking.
It's in gravel. It's not in dirt.
It's in gravel. Okay, so if it's in gravel, you could take the edging out and then just do a concrete edge for sure.
Yeah.
Because if the problem is if you pull that edging out and it's in dirt.
Yeah. That's
so you know what we used to do with edging back in the day? We reversed it.
And yeah, put it underneath.
So so it was under the patio, and then we put the nails in, and then that way there was no lateral creep and it couldn't lift up. We reversed edging like that for, I don't know, 15 years, maybe more.
Hmm.
I was still doing it like that. We started concrete edging maybe 3-4 years ago, but before that, we were always using the reversible aluminum edging with the little divots in it, so the heads of the nails go down in. And I never once ever fixed a project that we did the edging like that. Because then the other thing is you can put dirt up and there's not dirt anyways, whatever. It worked good. It was a good system.
I do that along, or used to do that along fences, decks, things like that.
We did it for years. Even when we first restarted Paver King, we used to do it. We were still using edging.
Have you guys ever picked up your soldier course and laid that with like wet laid that in concrete? No.
I've seen guys do that though.
Yeah.
That's the edging. The wet lay of the soldier course is the edging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I let my guys, well, Murray, the French guy, he wet laid an overlay for the first time ever on one of my sites.
With natural stone or
No, it was overlay
pavers?
coping, yeah.
Yeah.
They mortared him in. We usually don't do that, but he was comfortable with it, so let him fly. It looks great.
Why did you choose that if you don't normally do it?
Because he said he can do it and he's great at it. He's like, I love doing this.
Okay, so he brought this to your attention that he has this skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I gotta, like the steps weren't perfect, and I was hemming and hawing about, oh, I don't even want to do this. I'll spend all day on the grinder and stuff. He's like, no, we just form over it. And he's like, I bring 2x6, and he mashed this thing together, formed it. He's like, I put Depcon here, make the concrete strong, and like fucking perfect, Murray. And he did great. Yeah, like he fixed all the steps, fixed all the rise. We weren't fucking around for days. Like, assuming this thing stays in one piece, it's not flaking off all over. Knocked it out of the park. So,
This Murray guy seems like a winner.
yeah, he's great. Great, good attitude. He's like, I love everything I'm learning here. He's like, you guys do things different, but I love it. And put him in the till rotator. He's in awe about the thing. Like,
Nice.
yeah, a great fit. But who knows how long they stay around, you know?
Never be what was he saying last week? Don't be sad. Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened when he leaves.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
That's
You
the
know,
best you can do.
Maybe he'll come back in a couple of years for a week or a season or something, you know? Like,
Maybe he'll stay for 10.
maybe he'll stay for 10. Who knows?
Maybe he likes NDL.
Maybe who wouldn't?
How far is his drive to work?
20 minutes?
I can't.
He
I think-
said it used to be 3 hours to get to work when he worked in Quebec.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So if you're 20, maybe you got a good shot at. Do you have stuff you can put him on in the winter?
There's always something they can do. If they're really hurting that they need to top up 3i or whatever, we'll get them doing something.
Does he like commercial work, or is he only a residential guy?
He could do it all, man.
But does he like it?
I haven't had him on a commercial site yet.
Has he ever done commercial before?
I'm not sure.
It's a big difference.
It's
Some
like-
residential people are residential. They're just
Yeah.
resident.
Yeah, I see
Like
that.
there's some people that are residential, and then there's some people that are commercial. And to be honest, finding people that go between the two seamlessly, that can be a challenge, because they're very different environments and generally very different scopes of work and very different things happening.
Yeah. But I think it makes a good, well-rounded landscaper.
I do too. There's some people who don't react well to the switching back and forth between the two styles, in my experience.
What's the more difficult one to?
I think they're both hard. They're both really hard. I don't think there is an easy, don't think there's an easy landscaping job on the planet.
No, I mean to transition to somebody who can do residential. Are they easier to transfer them to commercial or vice versa?
I think it's harder to make a commercial landscaper into a residential landscaper because a lot of commercial landscapers like it because it's very fast. Very rarely on a commercial site are you dicking around with something for endless days to get like everything is fast. Like you're doing everything as fast as possible. And even if you're laying pavers, like you're laying vast amounts of pavers fast. Whereas there's some people that are just better at fucking around, forming and pouring a porch, like Chad just said. Like that's a skill, man, to take that time of take that kind of time and patience and work that out and do all that. Like that's hard because it's slow moving. And there's some people's brains don't react. Like my brain doesn't react well to that kind of stuff.
Agreed. I get frustrated with that. So someone else do this and I'm going off to do something else.
Yes.
Manage something commercially or point my finger. Motivate the guys on a commercial site is a better use of my time than forming a porch to overlay it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But you're right. Murray loved it.
But that's a great skill. Like it's a valuable skill. And there's a certain mindset of people that are amazing at that.
Yeah.
And there's certain, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a bin truck driver, I don't think you like being a triaxle dump truck driver. They're just different. They're different. They're just different things, right? It's a whole different world. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just a weird. It's the same with residential and commercial. I think it's harder to make. The hard transition from commercial to residential is the detail work and the porch. And that, like, you look at someone who's grinding away on a porch trying to overlay the stairs, and you look at the sum total of their accomplishments in a day after working really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then you look at someone who's planting street trees, and you look at the sum total of their accomplishments in a day, and you say, wow, that street tree crew, those 5 guys put in, I mean, we used to do on a good day 120 street trees a day, completed, 100% done.
Wow.
So like you look at those, we do that with 5 guys. Wow. So if we did that with 5 guys, you say, okay, each guy put in, say there were 6 of us for easy math. Each guy put in 20 trees by themselves. So if each person put in 20 trees by themselves, or each person could fuck around forming this porch for a day. Yeah. But in general, the guy who fucks around forming the porch will never be the person who puts in 20 trees. And the person who puts in 20 trees will never be the person who forms the porch. And both jobs are extremely valuable at any landscaping company.
The real winner is the boss who employs them both and sets them out to do what they're good at, then takes all the money.
And the real winner is, you're right, is the boss that can recognize that skill set and find the work that's profitable for both of those people.
Yeah.
And in a residential / commercial landscaping environment, both of those people are valuable because the person putting in the trees on the commercial site is probably invoicing more per day than the person that's putting the porch together. I think we could agree on that.
Yeah.
A landscape laborer on a commercial site will always out invoice a landscape laborer on a residential site. Always. Day over day in terms of volume of money. The difference though being that residential person is going to be paying the salary of that commercial person while you wait to get paid for that commercial job. So both people are valuable.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of the matter.
That's Caleb's corner.
Sounds like you know your numbers.
Yeah, fuck. Without the person putting the porch together, the person planting the trees might not get fucking paid.
Yeah.
Because residential stimulates a lot of cash flow. And commercial stimulates zero
Mm-hmm.
cash
As
flow.
my books will tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. We have one commercial job where they keep calling us to do like, I mean, these are minor repairs, like not a big deal. I have no issue going to do them. But I'm like, until you give us our holdback money, I'm not fixing anything more. I'm not investing another penny in this project till we get paid.
Yeah.
And I am thrilled to go and do the work as soon as you pay us the holdback. You pay us the holdback, I will send a crew the next day to do the work. But I'm drawing a line in the sand in my investment in this project until I get my holdback money. I've got a bathroom to warranty at the art gallery. I can't keep investing money in your project. I got to get this bathroom fixed up at the art gallery so I can get paid.
I had what would you call them? An equipment contractor. They do excavation and equipment rental and stuff like that. They got a couple new, everything's new. One of those new Devilons and a new
Devlon. Talk to the guy about he has a brand new Devilon. I talked to him today.
Okay, well, this guy's got a new Devilon.
How does he feel about it?
I don't know what he thinks about it, but he calls me. He says, "Oh, you did some hydroseed work for us over here. It looks great." He's like, "I'm going to send another client your way. Lots of work, but they're very particular. Do you take the job?" If another contractor is telling you that this client is very particular, before
why isn't he doing the work?
It's landscape work.
Oh, okay.
He's passing off the landscape portion, like the hydroseed work, and then he said porcelain work. So I'm assuming it's a porcelain patio or something.
Yeah, but do you think that? I mean, I saw the porcelain work you did. You broadcast it all over Instagram.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a particular contractor. You guys did a particular level of work there. So someone saying that this client is a very particular person, I think you guys are a very particular contractor.
I want the type of client that people say they're great to work for, not they're particular to work for. You know?
Okay, but
I can do a particular job.
Do you think you're a better contractor than that guy?
I have no way of telling. We do completely different scopes of work. Sort of. He does excavation. I can do excavation. I don't know what makes someone a better contractor than someone else. His one is newer than my Hitachi, you know?
Communication.
Well, he's communicating.
Is a new Devlon better than an old Hitachi? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
that's it.
Someone's going to find out.
His Volvo tandem is newer than my International tandem.
As far as I can tell, the only Devlon dealers are in Innisfil and Mississauga. So
we have one in Var.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say I wish him well.
Yeah. I don't know.
I looked at the Devlon. It was a 135.
130. Yeah. They've got to be like wickedly priced. Like for them to be popping up everywhere.
He said it was 310,000
for a 13-ton.
So he's saying, I've seen the machine. It says 135 on it, but the numbers we all know are meaningless. But he was saying it was a 25-ton, but it still had a blade on it. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Like I've never seen a 25-ton with a blade on it. But this guy owns it, so very well he could be right and I could be wrong. Like it is a fair size. But what I did find about it had like a super short arm on it. Like the arm is super short and it's got a 2-yard bucket on it. But the bucket looks ridiculous. How big is the bucket on your 20?
2 yards on a 21-ton. But it looks proportionate. Like it doesn't look ridiculous.
This bucket is huge. So I don't know everything. about it, but maybe Devlon makes a 25-ton machine that still has a blade on the front of it. But once you get to 25-ton, usually they don't have a, because he was asking me about moving it,
Yeah, that you need a
like
low boy
moving.
for that.
In theory, well, if it's really 25, it would, like, our float's 30 tons, so it's probably good for 25 on the deck. But I don't want to tow 25-ton excavators behind our trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it didn't look way bigger than the 14-ton Komatsu that Don moves all the time.
Hmm.
But maybe it is. Maybe it's just because it's in a field and my perspective is off on it.
I have a hard time when they get big to tell.
Like, I don't, but I don't think I've ever seen a 25-ton excavator with a blade on it.
No, I have not.
So I don't know. It's probably Google it. I don't know. Does Devlon even have a website? I don't know. Is there a Devlon website? So I guess they were
I'm sure
Deuce.
there is for sure.
I guess they were Doosan.
Yeah, rebranded after Hyundai bought them.
So they have a Devlon dozer. I didn't know there was Devlon
Maybe they're
dozers.
great. Maybe. Where do we say they're from? Korea?
Yeah.
Well, it's not China, so. Mini excavators.
So yeah, I don't know. These things are.
Well, they got skid steers.
Do they?
Yeah.
So this is I'm looking up this one. It's a DX30. I'd have to go look at this thing. This one is way too small. It's not that size.
Who did you say had them?
Who sells them?
No, somebody said had them. Advanced wall structures or something.
Yeah, he has them. Well, he used to be a big Doosan guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it was just a natural progression to. So one of the attractive things about this is that these guys are selling it with 0% financing on any excavator. That's attractive.
Yeah, but you can say anything 0% and just bury it in the price of the machine. So the machine price has to be better too, right?
So there's a 140.
Yeah, which is 14 tons.
So there's a 140 LCR, a 180, a 200, a 225, a 220. Maybe it's a 235, that excavator. Maybe that's what I'm seeing. But the 235 doesn't have a blade on it in this picture. It does look like that. So maybe it's a 235. So that's why it's a 25-ton. It's a big machine. But yeah, I don't want to float anything that big on the deck overfloat. It's not fucking worth it. It's 57,000 pounds. So yeah, it's 26 ton. So so if that's, and it's a zero swing, this one in the picture. So I'm going to guess it's a 235. But it doesn't have a blade on it in this picture, but none of them have blades on them in these pictures. So that's kind of weird. Wow, they have a Devlon DX 1000, Chad. Why don't you get yourselves one of those? 100-ton excavator.
If they spent $310,000 on a 25, well, okay. When you said it was or whenever I thought it was a 13-ton,
How much was your excavator?
my used excavator,
Yeah.
my 5-year-old excavator was $156,000.
And it's a 21.
21.
So this thing has to be a DX 25 then.
Yeah.
DX 235, which is CR-7. I bet that's the excavator. It's a nice looking excavator. But yeah, he asked me to float it, and I said no. I was like, I'm good, man. need to hit any bridges.
Or you'll need a holdings company.
I'll need a
Put all your
holding company.
assets in.
My assets in the NDL Holdings Company.
Yeah,
So are you just going to call the holding companies NDL?
NDL Holdings.
Nice.
I said, you guys sort it out. Let me know what you come up with, and we'll move the money around. And they're like, oh, there's other bank accounts to open and other forms to sign and other this. I said, I'll sign the forms, I'll open the accounts, but I have no clue how to do any of this stuff. You guys need to be my brain here. And if we end up on American Greed, there's going to be trouble.
Do you feel like you're walking the same path as MC Hammer?
What did he do? Did he lose all his...
He lost all his money because he was trusting people to do all this stuff that you're talking about?
At the end of the day...
He also built himself a brand new home on some property he owned and overspent on it. So that was part of MC Hammer's big downfall. So maybe you are like, if I see you wandering around in hammer pants on Instagram tomorrow, like, I'm going to be deeply worried about you, Chad.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
And he's got his health?
I think his net value is $2 million.
Oh,
He's landscaping now.
He was, his net value was like 200 million.
He started a course, started a software. MC Hammer.